In 1976, I was one. No. I remember celebrating the 200th anniversary of our country. I had just turned 17 years old, and I look good for my age, don't I? And I watched the television as the tall ships, beautiful old sailing ships with multiple masts, made their way through New York Harbor. It was a wonderful moment to feel the whole country was celebrating freedom and democracy. Now, I was also alive and living in the Chicago area in 1968, where I watched the riots during the Democratic National Convention in Chicago and experienced the many tragic deaths of beloved figures of my liberal upbringing, Bobby Kennedy, the original Bobby Kennedy, and Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And even at 17, I had no illusions that this country had perfected the ideals that it has frequently professed. As much as that time impacted me and my love for my country, this time is impacting me as much, if not more. And of course, I am a lot older and hopefully a little wiser than my 17-year-old self. I care so deeply for this country. I love what it can stand for and what it has occasionally lived up to. I want to wave the flag and feel proud and grateful for who we are and what we are to each other and what we bring forth and represent to the world. Yet I was on a call on Thursday, a Zoom call, and the presenter was talking about the potential threats to various institutions of our faith, and not just by those on the fringe right, but possibly from the government itself. It made me very sad that we have come to this. The title for the service, What is a Patriot? It came to me after reading a quote from the book On Tyranny by Timothy Snyder. And the quote says, "A nationalist encourages us to be our worst and then tells us we are our best. A nationalist, although endlessly brooding on power, victory, defeat, revenge," wrote Orwell, "tends to be uninterested in what happens in the real world. Nationalism is relativist, since the only truth is the resentment we feel when we contemplate others. As novelist Danielle Kiss put it, nationalism has no universal values, aesthetic or ethical. Now, a patriot, in contrast, wants the nation to live up to its ideals, which means asking us to be our best selves. A patriot must be concerned with the real world, which is the only place where their country can be loved and sustained. A patriot has universal values, standards by which they judge their nation, always wishing it well and wishing it would do better. I am hoping that in some way, most of you, if not all, are patriots, meaning that you want us to be our best selves, to have universal values, and have standards by which we judge our nation, always wishing it well and wishing it would do better. Actually, that sounds very Unitarian Universalist to me. So today, I actually want to do something a little different. I want to do something that's going to make the introverts in the room a little uncomfortable. But I'd like to take a few minutes to have you talk to each other and how you're feeling about the state of our country. And let me tell you why. This is a lovely, wonderful, welcoming, and energetic congregation, and I know that we are warm and friendly. What I also know is that most of you, if not all of you, are struggling with what's happening in this world. So I thought it might be nice for you to hear from each other, and not me for a change, about how you're doing. Now, if you don't want to, just let your little group know that you would prefer to pass, and that's fine. But let's take a few minutes now and turn to 2 or 3 people, so there's time to share if you feel comfortable, and just share a minute for some thoughts on this question. How are you all doing with what's happening in the country? Now, for those of you at home, if you're with others, please share. If you're alone, call someone or contemplate the question of your own. And give it a shot. How's that? So let's try it now. Turn to each other and let's have a few minutes. All right, so let's start to wrap up. This is what happens when you let go. And the reason I want you to wrap up is because I want you to take now another couple of minutes and answer the question, So what gives you hope? What gives you hope? Okay, so let's take another couple minutes and answer the question, what gives you hope? I may have turned, oh, there we go. Okay. All right, I'm going to do. All right, you here? Hello. If you hear my voice, clap once. We're going to camp. We're all going to camp this summer. All right, no speeches. But I'm going to do a little Phil Donahue here. Does anyone want to say briefly, no speeches, what you want to express about what you're concerned about, how you're feeling, or what you're hopeful for? Anybody want to do either one of those things? No speeches.
Hasta la victoria siempre.
Bien.
So, and for Pride Month, all the Inova Health System screensavers are all about Pride Month. And the Pride flags are being flown at Inova hospitals. To me, that is a really, really cool thing. And I work in the place where if somebody wants to call and complain about that, they will be calling me. And I haven't gotten any calls yet.
This is what I hear what you're saying, is what I'm saying.
So you asked about what gives me hope, and I shared with my group that I take the advice of the boss on this. That's right. That's Bruce Springsteen. The dope is, there is hope.
Any quote about Bruce Springsteen gives me hope. Anyone else? Come on, shy people.
Well, I am a teacher, and my students give me hope all the time.
All the way back there, Chris? Oh, my Lord. I walked a lot yesterday at Pride.
I was doing the early voting for the Democrats at Tyson's Pimment Library, and a local group home came in, and they were all very prepared, and I didn't have sample ballots for them. I gave them something, but I said, I have to get it back. And they went in and voted, and they were so happy, and they gave me my form back. So that gives me hope.
All right, well, so I'm going to go to my mic, Ben. So I got this I was on this Zoom call on Thursday, and I walked in here, and the choir was rehearsing. And I sat down, as I do if my meetings are done early on Thursday, to listen to them rehearse, because I really enjoy that. And they were singing Born This Way. Yes, we were. You were. And I started finding myself getting emotional. I started to cry. And as Laura said, okay, let's take a break. And I actually stopped, and I asked the choir just for a moment to stop, and I said, I just want you to know I'd been on a Zoom call earlier today where I was talking about the government's threats to Unitarian Universalism, in part about people are worried about them taking away our 501c3 status. And I said, and I'm listening to you sing Born This Way, and I'm so proud to be a Unitarian Universalist. So, there's a lot to worry about, and there's a lot of trauma in the world, but my friends, as I have said numerous times, we give each other hope. We are here, and Jan and I were just talking, and one of the things that we were just saying is that there are people in the government keeping their heads down, right? And doing the right thing. And I know that some of them are in this room right now, right? So, anyway, in the next few weeks, we're going to be going into the summer. And there'll be people, you'll be out and about doing your things, vacation camp, kids out of school, RE, in and out, whatever. But don't forget that you are tethered to this community. This is UUCF, and we will continue to be here for each other as we go through this time. You know why? Because we are patriots. And that's the name of that tune. Amen.